So this is my favorite moment, standing in the mystery, not knowing, except I have a prayer that something will come through me, rise up through me that is worthy of our gathering, that's worthy of this exploration into purpose, that's worthy of this journey of this planet and cosmos, that's worthy of showing up on this miracle, planet and these miracle bodies. So my masculine would like to channel the living word, to give you a vibration in the core of your heart of the essential note of cosmos before everything, that big breath that is already alive. Before Moses wrote down the word or humans made language, there was a vibration of purpose, of life that still resounds in the core of a human being that can be felt. So I would like that to activate. And I would also want to tell you from my masculine how fucking proud I am of you, of us, of those beings that actually are enough emerged to care about deep purpose. And I also want to tell you what a fight that is. What an amazing adventure. Yes, surrender. Yes, the mystery. But you have to fight to show up and claim your own right to feel that and to claim that as your sovereign right to live according to the vibration at the core of your being, which is the same vibration at the core of everything. But the feminine part of my soul would like to just tell you that I want to make love to you. And I want to make love to your souls, souls to souls, to your hearts, to your bodies. I want to join with you in that mystery of love. And she wants to say, well, actually, if your purpose is not about love, then it's not worth anything. And if it doesn't come from love in the first place, it's not worth anything. So why fucking bother? Because love is this essential quality that comes with that core vibration. And so much of purpose is about goals. And even the word earth has this goal, like in New Zealand it would be a rugby goal, an H at the end of the word. As if we could achieve something. But when you put that goal at the beginning, then you have heart. And so when you start in your life force and you start in love and you start from the place where nothing's wrong, and then you emerge from that, then purpose is a living, evolving dance of something that already is, rather than something that's trying to be achieved. So I call that riding the lightning. And I feel like I'd like to woo you away from your purpose for a little bit. I travel the world often looking for people who actually have done with their purpose. They've achieved their purpose. Like, that's the ticket to prove that you can stand up, individuate from others, find the core of your own being and say, I'm going to make shit happen. And then make it happen. Great. But then what? I feel like I'm like an recruitment agent for the eros of cosmos, that wants to take people that actually know how to achieve purpose and have no purpose but to surrender to the purpose that already is, to the life that already is, to let go of their own direction and come together to listen to the direction that's been sounding since the beginning of creation, that's still sounding at the core of every human heart. And that purpose that's alive on the planet is shifting things. My guy wants to say, we live in important times. It's a great adventure. Our job is to roll a civilization that's based on survival and replace it with one based on love and freedom and this culture of liveness in the human heart. Yes, that's a great purpose. But the thing is, it's already happening anyway. And it's happening beyond our power to make it happen. So that's what I call riding the lightning. That the lightning is this amazing force of energy that it runs along tracks, but actually it breaks new ground. And, I once saw a guy who was on the news and they were interviewing him, and he was a storm chaser. And he'd been hit by lightning 3 times, and his hair was like this, and his eyes were wild, and he lived in this little van listening to the radio to see where the storm was coming so that he could get there first and maybe get these amazing photos, but he just wanted to live in the charge. And so there's something about that lightning energy, which is the current of being in charge. It's not the power of like my personality's in charge, I'm the boss and I tell you what to do. It's like I'm the one who's got the fucking lightning moving in me right now. That makes me in charge. And if I want to bring that through for others, then I'm more likely to be hit by the lightning. So this journey to find where is the charge? Where is this civilizational charge that's happening that is about to burst into storm? Which uprising is happening? What revolution is happening? Where is the lightning able to bring this charge between heaven and earth and move things towards a purpose that none of us know, that none of us can conceptualize, even together, that actually is a living purpose, that will never be put on paper, that never will be contained in a mission statement or a movement, portfolio. It's just a living, dynamic charge. And when it starts to emerge, in a collective, it's unstoppable. So being able to be available to the eros of cosmos as well as the logos of cosmos. Because in making love with each other, well, actually, not everybody. Some people have a plan, like nipples, and then, they follow their little plan. But that's not much fun, right? What really happens in lovemaking is when 2 people surrender together to something that's beyond both of them, and some dance happens that takes you some amazing place that you could never have decided to go. So I think of cosmos as a great lovemaking experience that's gathering us together as we listen to the purpose to find where is the resonance? Where is the resonance that brings me what I don't know? And even though I do these purposes, like I run mystery schools and so on, it's not because I know any mysteries. It's because I know how to live in the fucking mystery. Manage my fear enough to live in the emptiness, to live in the void where you don't know, but something can be revealed. So the mysteries are not secret esoteric information. They have the capacity to manage your being, to be past fear and in love so that you can stand and be enough in the great mystery. So I think one of my first teachers that was not human, in fact, I didn't really like humans, so I found teachers that were dolphins. Dolphins were like my first Tantra teachers. In fact, one of the reasons I'm here is I think subconsciously I saw Porpoise Summit, rather than purpose. So dolphins taught me, my first degree was in marine biology, and so I was going to work with dolphins because I couldn't find much intelligent life with humans, so I figured dolphins, maybe they had some mysteries for me. So I had a boat, and I had a flute, and I'd play the music, and I had a little dolphin tail. I was a bit of a tosser, really. I was educated, and so I thought that I could communicate with these beings because they brought me joy. So I would play underwater music, and I would flute, and I would swim, and they would hang around with me for 5 minutes or so, tolerant and loving. But then after about a year of this, one morning I got up, and I just was full of joy. And I went for a swim, and all of a sudden this dolphin pod was there. And they rubbed their bodies on me. They took me into their pod for an hour and a half maybe. I got out of the water exhausted, and they were still jumping, wanting more. And so they taught me that actually the communication, if I stopped trying to communicate and just felt them and felt my own joy, that's their language. Their language is an embodiment of joy. So humans, amazing humans, taught me consciousness. They taught me how to get out of my own mind and become awareness and become witness, and then go to consciousness itself, the consciousness of the planet, of the cosmos, be the great I am of the universe, and then become nothing. Find the void, find the emptiness, find that place inside awareness where there is nothing, that everything is arising. That's beautiful. Enlightenment becomes endarkenment. But it was the cetaceans that taught me embodiment. And after the dolphins taught me joy later on, some whales came to teach me about responsibility. So on the island home, a 50-foot right whale arrived with a calf and parked in front of my house. And the background is 2 years before, I'd taken my daughter and my family to swim with the whales. And my daughter had got pregnant on that journey. Well, actually, both my daughter and my wife's daughter got pregnant. And one of those girls died of leukemia. And the other girl was with me when the whales came. And the whales came, she came to bring her daughter to meet me. That's my story. And so I spent about 2 hours going out and kayaking with them and then flopping into the water and holding and gazing into these beings. And I've met many teachers in my life, many spiritual masters, but these teachings from these whales opened me to the arrogance of human-centric consciousness or awareness. And what they taught me was responsibility. That their message was, well, if you want your purpose to be love, you have to take responsibility for the planet, for the whole planet. Everything. You got to feel everything. They have these amazing bodies that feel everything. They feel the oceans, the forests, what we're doing. They feel it without blame, without judgment, but they feel it. And so dolphins are joy, whales know suffering. They know the suffering of being alive on this planet, unable not to feel everything. And so what they taught me through their bodies is, yes, feel it all, accept it all. This is our earth. This isn't just me and my purpose as one individual on the earth. This is my earth. Donald Trump's me. Monsanto's me. The ones pouring poisons into the rainforest is me. There's no way I can fight them. I have to accept them. And I have to find a way of loving what is, even in what Terry's talked about as the great denial of what it is to truly be here and feel it. The other thing that the whales taught me was that suffering has a limit. The limit is Earth. They don't just listen to Earth with their bodies, they listen to Cosmos. And Cosmos is still singing. Cosmos is singing the great music of the spheres. And that song also vibrates in their bodies. So that song that allows them to eventually sing when the vibration gets so great is the deep acceptance of incarnation and the power that our bodies have to bring this great gift of the human soul into land and to resource it. So I always thought that my resource was the abundance of cosmos, that I know through consciousness, through the void, there is unlimited power that moves through civilizations, that moves through planets, that brings the vibrancy. So I always resourced myself there. And I kind of brought along to this idea that the earth itself is a limited resource, right? You know, the oceans have been destroyed and it's limited resource. And even the idea of the feminine as being something vulnerable that needs looking after and taken care of. Until the earth showed me and my body showed me that inside matter is the same unlimited, abundant, incredible, powerful energy that lives in the core of consciousness. That matter is not this damsel in distress that we have to look after. Everything that humans have done, we bear the consequences of that. Matter itself is like holding treasures for us. Just like consciousness is holding treasures for us, it's holding treasures of power and doorways to abundance and to energy that is undreamed of, that we can use. And that energy is waiting for our love to be alive enough, to be responsible enough, to be mature enough to go get our inheritance. So a lot of people talk, and purpose, and luckily I'm long in the tooth and I've been around this talk for a long time, and they talk about, let's go find the people of influence in the world, the ones who are running companies and the ones who are have great political power or whatever, and we'll transform them, and that will transform the world. And, I've just seen that play out over so long, for so many years, and it's not my way anymore. I don't believe that our solutions are to be found inside the civilization that is dying. I don't believe that those solutions, there are good people there, but the solutions are not there. So something is going. It's a civilization based on fear and control and survival. And there's big events coming up over the next decade. And many people will be caught in either trying to hold on to the past or revolution to try to break free of the limitations. But there's a whole new wave which is about ignoring that altogether and just showing up as love. Showing up as love that is already free. And again, that feminine part, that fierce grace of leadership says, that love is inherently the birthright. And there'll be lots of voices that will say, in order to achieve our survival, we need to do X, Y, Z. But that heart voice says, it doesn't matter if we survive. It doesn't matter if the planet survives. Not as much as whether love survives in you. This whole fucking experiment, this whole journey on earth is about love. And it's about whether humans can show up for that love in the face of all of their worst fears. Otherwise, civilization is just a thin veneer. And it's a bullshit story. If you took a busload of people from this room and from anywhere in this city and you crash landed them in the Andes, pretty soon they'd be eating each other, and pretty soon the love that civilization held would start to disappear. So in the wildness that still lives in us is our hope for a new civilization. And the places I resource myself from are, first of all, what's beyond mind. That's this hand up. That through human civilization, which is so arrogantly self-centered, based on owning property and all of this kind of bullshit, there are limitless resources. Without being ungrounded, without losing your feet on the ground, there are fucking angels and bodhisattvas and ascended masters and cosmic intelligence that's just wanting to pour in. That's wanting to pour in through us to help us. Human consciousness, the personality of Earth, the civilization that allows us to elect leaders that tell us they think they know where they're going, and we buy that because we're afraid and we think we want to know where they think we are going. All of that can just be swept away by reaching through it. Reaching through it to the reality that is beyond the arrogant, immature stage of human evolution, and calling in that consciousness that has the solutions from beyond the level that we can create them. It's a bit like the magician's apprentice. Have we got to the stage where we've made a big enough fucking mess that we ask for the real magicians to help? Or are we still going to just keep creating more drama and trying to elect more people to create more drama? So that's one source, the source through consciousness itself, through developed consciousness in cosmos, asking for help, praying, not in a religious, dogmatic world, but in a place of deep surrender, of knowing that actually we don't have those solutions, and we don't even know what they are. We don't even know the fucking questions to ask. We don't beat our own heart. The arrogance of our mind that thinks we can come up with this solution. So breaking through the mind, getting on our knees, asking for help from the sources that guide evolution on planets. And the other way is reaching down through matter, down through our emotions and our sexual energy and our bodies, down into the very atoms themselves, into the rushlight of matter, into that wild abundance that lives there creatively waiting to emerge if we are humble enough to bow before the earth and realize that our divine parents have inheritances for us. They're waiting like immature children, like teenagers. Shit, if we give them the money now, they'll just blow it on their parties and their stupid fucking, clothing design, ideas. But if we wait till they're actually responsible, then these powers can come. And when they come like a great defibrillator. Powerful energies, lightning descending, the serpent of planetary kundalini, the dragon power arising, and they kickstart the human heart. It's not just enough to bring in the lightning. You have to bring up the power of the earth itself. So any purpose that your body won't stand up for as well is again not worth having. The masculine and feminine have to marry inside the human heart. There has to be purpose that is not at the cost of love. And love that's not at the cost of freedom. That's not an attached, sentimental love. A mature love and purpose together. That's the masculine, feminine, and the heart. But we also have to marry the soul and the body, consciousness, and this beautiful, sentient, life force-driven instrument. That's not a liability. That's actually waiting until we bow before it and ask it for fucking help. Our animal is not some primitive part of us that we have to override in order to be civilized. It's a treasure waiting to be loved and bring its power to us to become the dragon throne beneath the golden soul of the consciousness that we are. So unless our body rises up, unless our body stands up for the same thing that arouses our soul, that arouses our heart, then it's not a mission we really want. It's not an outcome we really want. So this link between our own indigenous nature and our colonizing nature of consciousness has to be fused. So I want to give you an opportunity to do that. So why don't you stand up? It seems to me on the planet that it's really important, if we want to live this purpose, however we understand that to be or we experience that to be, that we stand up for it. Showing up is like 90% of the journey. And that requires tremendous courage. And that courage doesn't just come from the soul, it comes from the body. Actually, the body's not really afraid to die. It's been living and dying for generations, thousands of years. The body itself is not afraid to die. It's mainly the ego and the consciousness. So we want to enroll this amazing power of the body to hold our soul in the difficult times ahead. So Terry said today that, quoting Joanna Macy, I think it was, that if everything that we loved was threatened, wouldn't we want to be there? Wouldn't we want to show up for that journey? So most of us can know those times in our lives when we didn't stand up, where we didn't feel enough, know enough, love ourselves enough to know that if we didn't stand in a live and die time, that something's lost inside us. So this practice comes from the Maori culture in New Zealand, and it's just, I'm going to give you a little taste of the haka. And what the haka is the place where you have no choice. And you choose to have no choice. It's not like you're a disempowered having no choice. It's like you choose to show up because everything that you love is threatened, and you don't know what's going to happen. You're not showing up to fight to win, but you're showing up. So what they do is, I'm going to give you the esoteric side of it, is first of all, they call on the earth. So just anchor yourself with your left foot. Push a few chairs around. Be disruptive. It's okay. It's the last talk. Disrupt the status quo. So you're anchoring with your left foot, and you are drumming with your right foot. And when you're drumming, You have a specific intention, which is you're talking to the earth with the soles of your feet. And you're talking with the sole of your right foot, your masculine foot. The feminine's about birth, then the masculine is about the mysteries of death, and the things that need to die so that more things can live. So you're calling on the earth kundalini. You're calling on the deep powers of the earth. Say, look, witness me. I'm a human soul. I have nowhere else to go. This is my planet. I love it. I'm here. Come to my aid. And the words they use are kamate, kamate. So just try that. Kamate, kamate. So that means death. Like, if this is my time to die, okay. But love is not going to die. Love is the me standing up. Okay, so just keep that drumming going. So now you've called upon the earth. You've called upon the energies in your own body. You've called upon your own animal. You've called upon the part of yourself that's not afraid to die. Saying, okay, if death comes, here I am. And then the next stage is you put your hands up and you call on the lightning. And the word is ka ora. So you bring it down and vibrate it at the heart. Ka ora. Ka ora. Okay, so this vibration, ka ora, means life, life force. So you're bringing the life force of cosmos and you're vibrating it in your heart. Okay, and then the last part is, we'll do that 3 times. The last part is he. So you're dropping your hips, you're opening your base, you're connecting your base to the earth. And then you conclude with your hand going down. Okay, so I'll run through it for you and then we'll do it together. Okay, so you can try to meet me or you can just witness. Just start to feel this in your body. Because this is life force. It's moving the energy in your body. So life force is not an idea, it's a vibration. And it's a vibration that comes when what descends and what ascends meet in the heart. So I want you to think for a moment about what it's cost you not to stand up. And I also want you to think about the adventure of standing up, that part of your soul that knows you're in incarnation for just this time where you find your tribe and you stand with them. And shit happens. Miracles happen because you show up. And if it doesn't matter, if miracles don't happen, it's okay. Because you've come for this. You've come for that stand. So feel something inside you that you will live and die for. It's just true for you right in this moment. That's worthy of a stand that calls death and calls life. Where you show up as a soul, as a divine being, with the right, because of your love, to call upon the resources of heaven and earth to your aid, for the good of the whole, however that is for you. So just close your eyes for a moment and feel that. Find what it is in the core of your being that's worth your life and your death. It's worth this miracle of your incarnation. And make it real, because, hey, it is real. And when you've found that, start the drum. Right foot. And we'll do it 3 times. The first time is for you as an individual. And the second time, kamate, kamate, kura, kura, twice. This time you do it for your tribe. And the third time is for your planet. And that's when you raise the roof. And at the end, we'll just hold for the energy to arrive. Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody.